Alright, welcome to lesson 39 on proportions. As we take a look at this review concept before we move on to applying proportions to different geometric ideas in future lessons. So let's make sure we understand how proportions works. It says a proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. Now, of course, we've already understood the fact that a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. So with that comparison, you have two of them. They're equal, though the numbers, of course, may be different. So let's go ahead and use this. Sometimes in the past, we've worked with this with equal groups, with rates, we've used a lot of different concepts on this. But let's try this one. It says Mia can read 12 pages in 20 minutes. At that rate, how many pages can she read in 30 minutes? So as we look at this, we set this up in the fashion shown on the screen, right? 12 pages in 20 minutes. And so as we match up and create our second ratio, we got to match up our same labels, right? Since this is minutes here, we want minutes down here. And because this is pages up here, we're going to look for our unknown pages here. And so we have these different ideas. Now that our two ratios are set up, right, because they're proportionate, they're going to be equal, right? So we can throw that equal sign in there. And now we got to try and figure out how to solve this. Now sometimes proportions we can look across the denominator and we can see a relationship. 20 times something will equal 30. But that is not always the case. That's when they're nice. That's when they're trying to make it easier on you. But when it doesn't work like that, we can always use what's called cross multiplication and division, where I take the numerator of my first number ratio and multiply it by the denominator of my second ratio, and then vice versa, the denominator times the numerator. So 20 times n gives me an answer of 20n. And that, of course, is going to be equal to 12 times 30, which gives an answer of 360. Now that we've cross-multiplied, right, so 20 times n or 20n, because you can't solve that, and 360, 12 times 30. But now we have a new problem. 20 times n equals 360. Now we can rearrange this to solve for n. So we want to solve for n. So we're going to take 20, divide by 20 on this side. That's going to eliminate this 20. So we're going to divide by 20 over here. And so 360 divided by 20 is going to give us an answer of 18. And that's our n. And so we have this idea that n equals 18. So she can read 18 pages in 30 minutes. All right? If you don't believe my 18, double check my work. Moving on. So here we want to use the same idea. The ratios are already set up for us. Now we just need to use cross multiplication and solve. So we got 15. We're going to multiply by 32. Then we're going to take the 20 and the x and multiply. So I'm going to start over there. That's the easier one. 20 times x on this side. And then 15 times 32. Easier to set it up with a smaller number on bottom. And so we get 160 plus 320 gives us 480. And so we have this idea. So our new problem tells us that we have 20 times x equals 480. Right? I'm going to eliminate the 20 on this side. That makes it a 1. Right? And then we're going to divide it by 20 on this side. And 480 divided by 20 is going to give me an answer of 24. So x equals 24. Right? And so we can see this process to help us when there isn't a direct relationship like that. All right, here's one for you to try and work on as you better understand proportions.